Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, September 15th, 2020. I'm in Dryden. You're watching DrydenWire live. Fitzy was on last Tuesday for our chat. Former Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish was my guest last Wednesday. In case you missed those or any of our chats, you can watch those on our Facebook page, our website, and our YouTube channel. Quick programming note, last Friday I did have to cancel our Meet the Candidate. We were doing it with Kim Butler. That has been postponed now to, not this Friday, but the following Friday. That'd be September 25th, I believe. And this Friday I'll be chatting with Gabe Magnifici for our Meet the Candidate. And tomorrow, Wednesday, 7th Congressional District Representative Congressman Tom Tiffany will join me for an update on all things going on in D.C. and the 7th Congressional District. But today is Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, which of course is presented by Embrace. Embrace is the leading voice in comprehensive advocacy services and providers for survivors of domestic and sexual violence in Barron, Washburn, Rusk, and Price counties. Embrace provides unwavering support to survivors. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it's not your fault. Embrace is here to help. For free confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. Wow, that was a lot more than I usually have to go through. Chris, good morning. How are you, man?
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing really well. Yeah, which is
good.
weird.
I see you had to cancel last Friday because your mom and dad had to do a 2-for-1, huh?
Yeah. We should get some frequent flyer miles.
Yeah. You're like, your mom's like, you're not outdoing me. No, I'm glad she's doing good, or I'm told she's doing good.
Yeah. And that was kind of a scary thing. Obviously, Dad had his heart attack a couple months ago, and then Mom was actually here Thursday morning. We're recording her kind of like a part 2 of her chat with Brian Cole, and that was till like 9 o'clock, and then I don't know, it was 4 hours later, I'm getting a text from Dad saying that they're going to the hospital, and about an hour after that, she's on a helicopter down to Eau Claire. 3 hours after that, you had a heart attack, put some stents in. I think she had some blockage in her arteries, and I was video chatting with her. And the next day she came home. She's good for another 100,000 miles.
Yeah, not to be outdone. She wouldn't let your dad have all the glory of the one helicopter ride, so she had to have her own.
Yeah, that's Mom. Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting. Obviously that's a huge positive for us, because anytime someone has a heart attack, you just don't know what's going to happen. But, to have both my parents have a heart attack within 2 months of each other, and wildly different types of heart attacks, and but then they both survived and they're doing well. I mean, it's just a fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Pretty awesome and pretty, scary, but the medical technology of today's world is phenomenal, and our air helicopters and our first responders and our firemen and our doctors and our nurses are just lifesavers every day of the week, and people just don't understand it until it affects you. It's similar to police. People don't need the police until they need us, and then we're great, or we're not great because we pulled you over and you're drunk and you're getting arrested, and we're not great.
Yeah.
So
I remember in high school, because Dad was the sheriff. I think he got sheriff when I was in like 8th grade. And of course, in high school, Monday morning comes around, and oh man, I freaking hate your dad. I'm like, let me guess, you did something wrong, and he was there to bust you for it. Yeah, don't hate him. I mean, you're the one doing something stupid. So what's been positive in your life since last Tuesday?
I don't know. It was a pretty quiet weekend, and just went for a hike on Friday afternoon. Went up to Trigo area and spent some time in Spooner on Friday afternoon, and just walked around Spooner a little bit, and just enjoyed the fresh air outside, and had a nice weekend and didn't do much.
You didn't go to work this time? On Saturday and pull over speeders?
Yeah, I did.
All right, true story. I did. Yeah.
Oh. We had the Rodeo Chris Cruzy concert. Went over really well. It was a little rainy, a little muddy, but so we did work that event and made sure everybody made it home safe.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, pretty quiet weekend, though. No press releases to do. That's always very positive on a Monday and a Tuesday when we're not writing press releases.
Yeah. Yeah, because typically you'll send something out, You're more likely to send something out, I've noticed, on a Monday, simply because you usually don't send any press releases on a weekend.
Right.
But obviously, weekend is when a lot of people do dumb things, it seems like. I mean, it's not exclusive to weekends, but a lot of time there is. So usually on Monday, so I was surprised, nothing from you. Actually, for the last few weeks, not a whole lot of pressers coming out. So that's good.
No, you're talking 3 days of, usually it's a Friday night, a Saturday night, a Sunday night. So you're talking 3 days into one press release. But no, I haven't had to write a press release in a couple weeks now. And knock on wood, that's a great thing around here. That's what makes Tuesday so nice. And we can just do this show and got nothing on my calendar. We're going to try to do some proactive stuff today and just have a little fun.
Awesome. I did have, so what we typically do, for most people, I think, know kind of our formula. We talk about anything positive in our lives, and then we also discuss any press releases or any stories that I've done or updates that had to do with Barron County. There were two, I think I put up yesterday. One was a court sentence 18-year-old on conviction of fleeing law enforcement. I don't know if you had a chance to see that one. You had, I think, done the original press release on that whenever that happened, a few months ago, I think. And I think he got I think it's like 2 years of probation or something.
Right. I'd see he was pretty young.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long a chase that was. I don't recall how long, but obviously no one was injured in that one. Otherwise, it would be a different charge. So, that's always good in those cases. And the fleeing become difficult. That's an area in law enforcement that some people have a big opinion on, and some people want us to keep chasing to catch the bad guy. But we base it on traffic. We base it on what time of day, where we're at, if we're entering a city or a village, or lots of different things can go into a high-speed chase. And so that's where the court takes that into the, when they sentence somebody, they look at all that stuff and did he put a lot of people in danger, things like that. So hopefully he learns from it, moves on in his life, and we keep moving forward.
Yeah. By the way, Nancy, actually, I've never known how to pronounce her last name. You probably do, Chris. Is it Hove?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. I see that.
She had said that you're the best, and I believe it was Nancy that we had sent a mask to. I think that's the right one. So yeah, it came back in the mail, so we have to send it back out. I wrote the wrong address, so just a quick update on that. Also yesterday was a long prison term ordered for Rice Lake man charged with child sexual assault. That was, I think, Raymond Clark. Obviously, that was like 3 different counties. He had things going on in Washburn and Rusk and in Barron. It was all kind of consolidated. I think he got 30 years, but 15 years initial confinement. He's in his 60s, so hopefully he'll be in there for a long time. When you see things like this, is it kind of a way to go, guys? Is it a positive when you see that stuff, like the DA's office?
You bet. That's it's a conclusion to a case. Everybody likes to finish out things and have a conclusion to a case. And when it's a major case where there's kids are in danger, it feels good to put somebody in jail that's not going to follow the rules, and that's what jail's for and prison's for, and the judge makes that decision. We don't. Yeah. We present the evidence to the DA charges it, the jury or the judge find the person guilty. That's the process. Yeah. And so that's how it works. And it makes us feel good when we do a good job and a complete thing and protect the public. So
yeah, and honestly, I think we can all agree when anything with kids, man, that's just. Yeah, I like seeing prison terms if anyone does anything that has any way, shape, or form if it regards kids. Yeah, I like seeing prison terms for that.
Right. Yep. I have no problem with prison terms either. We don't send a ton of people to prison in Barron County, but when we do, it's usually for selling meth and doing some other things. And and obviously sexual assaults against kids and adults. Obviously. Those are major cases that we work on, and that was a major case. The Clark case was a major case. It's not just one interview and we do a report and then it's upstairs. It's multiple interviews, multiple victims, multiple counties, tracing routes of people and finding victims. And sometimes they're years apart, and they find out that they did an abuse or something else years later. Then you got to find that. So
how long? I mean, maybe not this case specifically, but in a case similar to this. If you had to just ballpark, guesstimated amount of, I don't know, man hours, investigations and reports, and maybe having to testify or be available for the district attorney. How many hours is a case like this? You said it was kind of major case, because it certainly was. How many hours do you think?
Oh, you don't work on a case all day, every day, but it's probably a month long of straight hours. I mean, over, so it might take 3 months, but you've worked, a good month, easily 4 weeks of straight work to work on a case like this. And again, you take that 4 weeks and you stretch it over 3 or 6 months. But yeah, the court case, the preparation, the reports, the interviews, finding people, getting them to interview, making sure they're telling the truth. Then you've got to corroborate evidence and do all that other stuff. And hard to find evidence from an 8-year-old case. So you have to look for evidence and, take pictures of houses and bedrooms and things like that to, show people or know what they're talking about and tell them the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, very time consuming. And I think that's the part sometimes we forget. Arrest them. All right, DA, they arrested him for all this stuff. Let's go. Charge him. Let's go. And let's sentence him. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, we could just do that Law and Order theme, go do, and then we go right into the court.
I know, like 45 minutes and it's over. Nice.
That's right, with commercial interruptions.
Yeah, no kidding. We've talked about this before because you were a part of this investigation, but I think it was last Friday, the St. Croix Police Department put out a statement or a press release, and also a link to the video, body cam footage. I've never seen anyone do that before, by the way, and I don't know if that's something that people should do, or I'm sure there's a lot of decisions that have to be made before stuff like that. But in the almost 5 years of doing this, I've never seen anyone release or have a link to the body cam video. When you saw that, were you like, hey, that's a good idea?
Yeah, no, I was briefed on that they were going to do that. They worked with DCI. DCI helped do part of that case. We did part of it, and St. Croix County did a part, Polk County did a part, multi-jurisdictional to make sure it was neutral parties doing it. And I think DCI did a very good job of piecing that together. Very similar to some of their actions they did with us during the Kloss case. We pieced a lot of them videos together for court hearings and just to put together that. But yeah, I thought that was well put together. It was what we call a good shoot. I mean, no shoot is a good shoot.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good shoot. From a law enforcement standpoint, both officers were found to be that didn't violate any policy. And I think that's the good part. The district attorney of Kenosha did a very good job in describing how he's going to look at that case in Kenosha. I only determine if an officer violated any of the rules and procedures of the Kenosha County Police Department, or in that case it was St. Croix County or St. Croix Falls Police Department, or in our case it would be the Barron County Sheriff's Department. They don't determine a lot of other things that people think they determine. They determine rule violations, law violations, but they don't look at color and all that other stuff that people sometimes make a big deal out of, maybe rightfully so, wrongfully so. It depends on the case. But that's what the district attorney in Polk County had the district attorney in Burnett County review that, and the officers are cleared on that. So they released the video. I think the video clearly shows that, the officers did everything they could possibly do to not let that happen, and they ultimately had to.
Yeah. Speaking of the shootings, obviously this isn't a regional thing or in Wisconsin, but I think it was L.A., maybe it was Compton or somewhere in L.A. there was 2 cops that were shot, but it was obviously big news. Did you see about or hear about that?
The one in LA, yes.
Yeah. When you see stuff like that, what do you think?
I really think that sucks, because that can happen anywhere at any time. You're sitting in a squad car, typing on your computer, doing a report, and somebody just walks up, and you think they're going to walk up and ask you, if there's, for directions, or where's the McDonald's, or where can I get some gas, or or what street am I on, or whatever, and then somebody pulls out a gun and shoots you. That's just sickening, and it just sucks for law enforcement. I'll be honest, it's terrible.
Well, I'll call the Shelley Police Chief, Dave Wilson. I have a question about something, and he'll be in his squad, and he'll say, you know what, I gotta let you go, someone's coming up, to his vehicle he's parked, I don't know, checking traffic or speeders or something. Now it just gives me a different perspective now, because man, I just can't imagine just sitting there, and like you said, I don't know
Right.
why you're coming up, and it could be completely what you would think would be an innocent. This is a very normal person just walking up to my vehicle, but you don't know what they're going to do.
Right. Well, and a lot of people want it, and in this area, it's less, but we have to still be prepared for that. And in fact, when we train in a at the range. We sit in a chair and draw our guns from a seating position just in case we're in our squad car. But a lot of people just want to come up and say, "Hey, we love police and we support you." And around Barron County and around Washburn County, and Wilson gets the everything. And who does this remind you of?
Dave Wilson. You're channeling Dave Wilson right there.
Dave Wilson, he's the best.
That was great. Yeah, when he was on the show. Yeah, he had that look, just kind of really.
He had that look. He's just like, I just can't do it like Dave Wilson. I mean,
no,
he talks about how great I am. It's just he's just got his own style, and that's Dave Wilson.
Yeah,
and he's a great guy. That's what makes law enforcement great in Northwest Wisconsin is people like Dave Wilson and I and you getting along, and that's how we make things happen. And
I think so.
That's how we work together to do some great things in this community. And we're happy about that. But yeah, we have a lot of support in our area. But it's we get excited when people walk up to our squad car, and what do they want? Do they want to hurt us? Do they want to ask us a question? Do they want to hug us? I mean, it's all those things run through your mind every second of the day as a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, and you can't, because we live in the area that we live in, and because we have the type of community that we have, I think it could be very easy to become complacent and think, oh, that'll never be. But in a weird way, it's almost, well, I don't know. You tell me. Do you think it may be harder, or certainly just a different challenge when we do live in an area like this, juxtaposed to L.A. or Chicago, where it's more frequent when someone's coming up and they're going to be rude or jerks or try to throw something at you. It's just a little more common. We're not really here, but you could get complacent.
I agree. We train that into our people all the time, is we can become more complacent here than we can in a big city, because there is a lot more nice people, around here. I know there's nice people in LA and Chicago.
No, there really isn't, actually. I've been to Chicago. There isn't.
We're the best. That's no question about it. But yeah, it does suck. We're praying for those officers. I know they're thousands of miles away, but they're in our thoughts and prayers. And I just think, we're I don't know. It sucks that we have to talk about it on the media. We have to talk about the other things that happen, in Kenosha and Minneapolis and all that stuff. We've got to do something, and I don't know what that is, to all get along and do better in the world. But it starts with conversations like we're having and we have on the air. We're not afraid of most topics. I mean, sometimes we're afraid of topics.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, do we really want to? And it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, do we really want to?
Yeah.
But that's where it starts, and that's why I think people watch us and they interact with us. And I see there's a couple questions out there. We'll get to them in a second. But I just think those are the things that we want to talk about, and sometimes they suck to talk about, and there's some tough discussions having out there. But and there's people are picking sides, and that's not right. But I have to protect our cops, and I have to sometimes pick a side to protect law enforcement. And that sucks. I wish we could all work together, but Black Lives Matter is important. The mission behind Black Lives Matter, but the actual organization of Black Lives Matter is somewhat violent. And so, and there's different philosophies out there about that. So we have to be careful when we talk about that, and really, what does Black Lives Matter, or is it the mission behind it, or is it just a perception issue? I mean, is it truly a perception issue and BLM is perfect? I don't know. I don't deal with it a lot.
Yeah.
Again, the support we have and the communications we have with people are important to have, and locally. I don't really care what's happening in Kenosha or Minneapolis. I care about Barron County, and let's have a Barron County conversation about what's going on in Barron County, whether it's COVID or Black Lives Matter or some other topic, drugs and methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of that may be an uncomfortable conversation. I just thought of something. But first, you said there were some questions. I don't even have my thing up right now. Where is it?
When is the health meeting on their control? Now, there's some miscommunication out there, and I just learned about this morning. there is a county board meeting next Tuesday night, but I do not see the health officer issue on that agenda. So I'm trying to confirm that for people so they don't get too excited about it. That was taken off the agenda. Remember a couple weeks ago we talked about that. I think somebody saw an old agenda, and I believe I have the newest agenda. It does not say health officer on it at all. So I'm making sure I have the newest version. Trying to get that out to the people so we don't get a big uproar about something that's not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm working on that. So, but I don't think that's going to be on the issue. We had a meeting yesterday and it never even came up. So I think someone got an old agenda.
Sure.
And that's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
And it says, so you're running Barron County as a safe place for people here illegally. Why does the jail mark Hispanics as race unknown asked before but never get an answer, or my question gets deleted? We have to put race in the whatever the people tell us when they're booked into the jail. We don't get to pick that.
So I guess I'm not really understanding it. So on your jail bookings,
when we book them in the jail, we have to put a race.
Okay.
We don't pick a race based on what they look like. They answer that question.
Okay. And if they don't answer,
I think we put unknown because we don't pick a race. I believe that's how it is.
Interesting.
I'd have to confirm that, but we are running a safe place, and if people are here illegally, we call ICE. We don't make those determinations. We can't hold anybody. ICE is the only people that can hold somebody illegally, and illegal. I shouldn't say illegally. You don't hold anybody illegally.
Oh, live, I tell you.
But no,
we'll edit that part out later.
Again, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes, but no, Patricia, I hope that answers your question. Probably not quite, but we don't pick that, and ICE holds any people that are here illegally. Otherwise, they get released by our judge.
Okay.
So I think we're all caught up.
All right. So about those uncomfortable things, you're talking about BLM. I was having a conversation. It was actually with my wife this weekend. It was football. So I start work actually. So I take Saturdays off lately. I just need to kind of unplug, and then on Sunday, I usually start around 11 or 12. That's the beginning of my work week. So I think I had football on, but I wasn't really watching it. And but I would get notifications, like on Facebook, people saying, that's it, I'm never watching football again, or I'm not watching this year, or something. And it's, what is going on? So it wasn't until that night I was watching SportsCenter, and then I saw there was a lot of teams that made decisions, in different types of decisions. There was different versions. I think one was probably the most common one where people were just stayed in their locker during the national anthem. And then some people were out, and some standing, some not. So I think that's kind of what all this was, and she and I would just happen to be discussing that I don't care if it's unpopular to say, I don't really care what athletes do for the national anthem. I just don't. It doesn't affect me at all. I mean, you want to protest in your way safely, use your position or your platform to stand and, give a message, go right ahead. I watch football to watch the game. I don't care about the stuff before or after the game. And honestly, I really don't care what, Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, what their opinions are and things. It doesn't change my opinion. So that's when we started talking about, so how does this kind of, I wouldn't say end, but everything that is happening, obviously with George Floyd and then in Kenosha, kind of got people a little more fired up against it. It was such the timeline, it was shortly thereafter. Assuming, hopefully this situation doesn't happen in the foreseeable future, how does that kind of end? Is it just kind of go away and we stop talking about it? It'd be nice just if everyone wasn't racist. That'd be great, but that's unrealistic. I'm just saying, right? So
let's just do it.
Yeah. That's right now.
And now we're all done.
As a committee of two, yeah. Can I get a second motion on that? Yeah. So I was just curious, how does it? Because I don't want it to just go away, because then what got accomplished?
Right.
So I don't know. How does this end?
Well, I think you made a couple good points there. I think one is we put professional athletes on a pedestal, and you can choose to put a LeBron James or Aaron Rodgers or whoever you want on a pedestal and listen to their word as the gospel, or you can say that they're entertainers and just like that, or you can choose to say what I hope when I put something on Facebook that it's the truth and that people follow it because they put me in a position to do that. I'm in a position of power, and I understand I have this position of power, and I never want to go against that position of power. But so it's how you deem the person. And some people, when I say something, don't believe it. That's totally okay. You're fine to not believe whatever I say or whatever a professional athlete says. But I think whether it's Black Lives Matter or if LGBTQ or it's whatever the other issue is, methamphetamine, I think we just need to keep having conversations about it. And I think they have to be respectful conversations with difference of opinion. There's people out there, when we have the marijuana discussion, that say we should be arresting every meth person and leave the marijuana people alone, But it's still illegal. I can't help it. I mean, that's where it goes. I don't write the laws. So I think we have to have respectful conversations. We're going to disagree on some topics, but I think it's important to have those conversations. But you also have to stand for what you believe in. So whether it's you pro-police or you're against the police, you can believe in that. It's just, but that's where it ends. I mean, you have to respect that whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever you are. If you don't like that your neighbor has a Trump sign or a Biden sign, whatever it is, you just can't deface it. You can't steal it. You just got to respect that difference. Yeah. And I think that's the bigger issue, is a respect issue. And you don't have to talk to your neighbor if they're a Trump or a Biden supporter. You don't have to talk to them, but you just can't, you can stand for what you believe in. And I think that's important, but it's the difference of opinion. And so I hope it never ends. I don't want it to end. I want us to all get along better. And I think that will help. But you're right. We're not going to sprinkle pixie dust and make a motion to end racism today.
Yeah, but it reminds me a little bit of, and maybe this is a horrible analogy, but in terms of just media coverage and how our society looks at this, it reminds me a little bit of school shootings. Columbine happened, and I mean, that was wow, right? On so many levels. And then there were some copycats and a few others. And every time one of these happened, or the Sandy Hook, I mean, man, this was the topic that everybody talked about. Everyone had strong opinions. There were some great discussions, some not so great discussions. But I looked, I think it was Sunday night, I looked just to see how many school shootings, because this is what my wife and I were talking about, and it kind of reminded us of that. And there's still school shootings happening, but we're not talking about them. So, and we're just wondering, is it one of those, we're just kind of used to this now? Well, that's not good. Really. But I don't know. I don't want the conversation to end. I just hope it just doesn't fizzle out. And I hope that when athletes, and that's kind of the other interesting thing, I've had several people in a great conversation. They weren't saying anything negative, but say that when they see a football team or the NBA having Black Lives Matter stuff, that, well, that's it. I'm never watching NBA again. Or it's okay. And again, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I just hope that there isn't some resentment being grown in people, that it's maybe having the opposite effect. Because then it's going to even be more of a divide. And I just don't know, where is this in between, this middle, where we can all just peacefully agree on that, yes, the Black Lives Matter matters, law enforcement matters, and all lives matters. Of course, all lives matter. Duh. But also understand what that actually means. So be careful how people use that, just saying. I don't know. I just don't know how this ends. We just stop talking about it? Like you and I, next week, we just don't even bring this up anymore. And if people just stop talking about it, goes away? That can't be good.
But you are somewhat true. I mean, although we still talk about school shootings because we still do ALICE training, and due to COVID, we probably haven't done, we haven't done any ALICE training this year for any organizations or businesses. And so I did a virtual one. But you're right, it's less and less until something bad happens, like in Minneapolis or Kenosha and whatever it is. But I think Shasta made a good point, is that you have to do your own research too into this and say, you got to continue to talk about it, have differences of opinions, but also do some research into it. So make sure your facts that you're stating are true. And that's tough to find, unless it's DrydenWire. It's, we don't know if this, if it's really true or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, because what do they say? There's three kinds of lies, damn lies, and statistics. So you can make a statistic, and I've seen some of those, like one outlet will say that cops shoot more black people on average or something, and another one says, well, no, it's actually more white people die from law. Well, they're both accurate. If you have percentages, just, man, when you see, legitimate news outlets, like outside of Reuters, I don't even think I really trust any news outlet at this point. And that's the sad part. I mean, you're mass media. You guys are the big dogs. just don't take a side. Just give me the facts.
Yeah. And that's the trouble with, I mean, we all have to be careful to be as neutral as we can from a law enforcement standpoint. We support every person the exact same way, no matter what sign they have in the front yard, what tattoo they're wearing, or what color they are. We treat them the exact same way, or we better be treating them, or they'll be sitting in my office here across from me, having a discussion on why they didn't get treated the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, people are intoxicated or they're high and they don't recall the facts. And that's why we have body cameras and we have squad cameras and we, tape our dispatch calls. And so we have all these backup systems in place to keep our people in check. And we've talked a lot about that before.
Yep.
But I think those are important things to have. And we just got to keep the positive vibe moving forward. And that's why we started this. I mean, it started with COVID and we're like, man, everybody's so down because we're locked in and we're COVID. And we're like, hey, we got to do something. We got to jazz up Tuesday morning. It's a lot more. And, I'm happy for the 50 some people are watching that maybe we're putting a smile on their face and, we're just, having a little fun today and talking about some topics that maybe people don't talk about all the time. And, we didn't have a lot of law enforcement stuff to talk about. So we reach into some of these other issues. And
I think it's important that we have these conversations because, well, first of all, I've always respected you and for a number of reasons. But one of the biggest ones is that you're a bigger picture guy. And you don't care. You've talked before, but I don't care if you get a D after your name or an R after your name. I just don't care what color. I just don't care. Well, maybe not caring is the wrong way to say it, but I just treat everyone the same. And man, believe it or not, that's getting harder and harder to find, man. It just is.
And thanks for saying that, and that's why I respect you because we both try to do the same thing out there to just make our communities a little bit better, and that's what it's about. And I keep saying that's what's so great about Northwest Wisconsin is because we do have neighbors helping neighbors here and taking care of each other. And just so everybody's aware, we caught some kids not stealing all the big signs, but we had some younger kids, and I haven't checked on their ages, got caught by other neighbors stealing signs, political signs over the last week. So not the ones that were defaced and not some of the big ones that were stolen, but it's just some of this little neighborhood things. We had neighbors taking care of neighbors, and they called the police, and we worked through the situation. And I don't know if they got tickets or if they apologized and their ages or whatever it was, but the situation was handled by law enforcement with neighbors helping neighbors, and that's what it's about. And we just appreciate all the support that we have as always. But we just got to continue some of these tough conversations and some, I've had some tough conversations on some topics this week and they suck, and that's just life. But we'll keep moving forward and we'll keep trying to make a difference in our communities, and that's what we can stand for. And we'll try to keep the national news out of the area, and we'll just have DrydenWire.
Yeah, there.
For the cable television, and we'll just have DrydenWire. No pressure, but
you can just go ahead and do that. That'd be great. Did you get a lot of calls from the news release from the Barron County? I think it was the Democratic Party, the $1,000 reward.
Yeah.
For
I don't think we got any calls on that. But what it did is it probably made more people, both the Democrats and the Republicans, both put out press releases saying, don't damage your signs and don't do this. And I think it raised awareness, and it's probably kids doing it, but I don't know if it's a group or if it's just somebody that hates, something so bad that they feel they got to go do this, or if it's just
punk kids
seeing who can rack up the most signs on a Tuesday. I don't know. So they're just trying, is it a game? I don't know. I just don't know the answer. And it could be kids just seeing how many signs they can throw in the lake. I don't know. I just don't know the answer. So, but we'll continue to work on that and everything else we're doing. And
real quick, when do you have meetings? So I was watching an old episode of Chips, if you remember that TV show. Yeah. And, before they all go out, I don't know, like a sergeant or a captain or somebody would stand up, and they would all have this meeting before they all hit the road. Do you do like a daily, or this is just another one of those TV show things?
No. Well, they do them in bigger cities. I know. I think the Wausau Police Department, they have a briefing before they all go out, and we only have 4 people on, so our sergeant is one of those. Good. And our sergeants brief each other before they go home. The 6 a.m. guy tells the 6 p.m. guy what's going on. If there's something they got to follow up on. And then he just informs his crew. But they're out and about already, and we do it either by our computer system or by text messages or by phone calls or stop at the sheriff's department and we meet. If it's a major incident, we may have a briefing before that. We have a briefing every Monday with our detectives. Our detective division has a briefing every Monday. So, yeah, but I don't stand at a podium and then I just don't dismiss them. And a lot of times we're just eating donuts and we're just sitting around. We did have donuts yesterday, so I can't.
That's fantastic. I love donuts too.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think we're good to go.
Sweet.
Should be hopefully a quiet week and enjoy the weather and just
stay positive,
go
man.
Put a smile on someone's face today.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. It's not that tough to do.
Yep.
Even just something nice to someone, or I don't know, man, just one thing. It's not going to kill you. Just do one nice thing today, or say one nice thing to somebody today. It's one. We'll just start with one. All right, I'm going to let you, next Tuesday, I'm going to tell you what the one nice thing, well, hopefully I can do more than one, but I'm going to let you know what I did today.
Next Tuesday morning at 8:25, somebody's going to have something nice happen to them just before we go live.
Yeah, right. Oh, I forgot.
To do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Fitzy.
All right, take care.
All right. You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Embrace. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it is not your fault, and Embrace is here to help. For free, confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. I will see all of you right back here tomorrow morning when I will be chatting with 7th Congressional District Representative Congressman Tom Tiffany. So until then, stay safe, keep your social distance, and have a blessed day.